Okay, Year 7, here's just a quick recap on what we did on decimals the other day. If you have a look at exercise 702, we were converting between decimals and fractions. So in question 1a, 7 over 10, what we're doing is we're putting 7 in the tenths column. The tenths column is the very first spot after the decimal point. Part B, I think we were asked to write 5 over 10 as a decimal. So the first thing I wanted you to realise is that 5 over 10 can be written as a decimal. That's putting 5 in the tenths column. But we also had a look at the fact that 5 over 10 can be simplified as a fraction. If the top number and the bottom number of a fraction, the numerator and the denominator, if they can be divided by the same number, then yes, that fraction can be simplified. And guess what? This one can be divided top and bottom by 5. So if we go ahead and do that, so divide by 5 here, divide by 5 here, I end up with 1 over 2. That's how you simplify a fraction. Let's look at 2a. 0.7, that's a 7 in the tenths column. So the tenths column is there, which is why I've got over 10 there. The next one, I've got a 3 in the, is it the tenths? No. Is it the hundredths? No. It's the thousandths column. So I'm putting my 3 in the thousandths column. Let's look at the next one. There's a 3 in the tenths column. And in M, this is what I did when I showed you in class. I said it's like walking along and deciding, is it in the units? Nope. Tens? Nope. Hundreds? Nope. Thousands? No. Yep. Stop. We're in the 10,000ths. So that's why I write 10,000 as my denominator, because it's where this number finishes. And I've indicated that by these ticks. So that's involved, that's involved, that's involved. Stop there. So if we stop there, we're saying finish in the 10,000ths column. Let's look at Q, 0.082. So that 82 I know is involved, so I write it in the numerator. Then I ask myself, well, which column does the 82 finish in? It finishes here. Which column is that? Let's walk along. Units, no. Tenths, no. Hundredths, no. Thousandths, yep. So that's why that's 1,000 over there. So I've got my 82 over 1,000, and that's fine. But then we said, well, let's go ahead and simplify that, because I know that the top number and the bottom number are both divisible by 2. Go ahead, divide them by 2, 41 over 500. Next one, 1.6. Let's go from the left. Units, no, stops in the tenths column. So that's 16, has to be in the tenths. So it's 16 tenths. We can go ahead and divide top and bottom by 2 again. Let's look at S. Let's walk from the left. The tens, the units, the tenths, stop at the hundredths. So that 2725 is in the hundredths column. So I write it as 2725 over 100. And I can divide top and bottom by 25. Let's look at T. That 2007 finishes in the thousandths column. Let's look at 3. Now we've got 23 over 1,000, which means that the 23 has to finish in the thousandths column. So is it the tenths column, the hundredths column, the thousandths column? So I need 3 spots, and the 23 has to finish there, so that's why it's 0.023. Number 4, 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 9 in the tenths column. 4 out of 10, 4 in the tenths column. 704 out of the 1,000, 704 finishing in the thousandths column. 14 over 100, 14 finishing in the hundredths column. 17 over 100, 17 finishing in the hundredths column. 1 and 6/7, well, there's a 1 in the units, and the 67 finishes in the hundredths column. Notice that 2 decimal places are involved because it's a hundredths column. The next one, 4 and 47 over 100, 2 decimal places involved again because it's in the hundredths column. Notice that if it's in the tenths column on this next one, it's only 1 decimal place. And W, it's only tenths, so it's 1 decimal place. And I made this one up, it's not in your book. But notice it's in the thousandths column that the 15 lies, so that's 3 decimal places. And the 23 is the units, well, the units and the tens side of things, and the 15 is on the decimal side of things. So your homework was to do the last columns on page 277 of exercise 7.02. Hope that helps, guys. I hope you get a look at it too, Shifa.